Hello, welcome to KAJOS Consultants. My name is Joshua, and today I will be taking you through how you can analyze and interpret a paired sample t-test. In our previous tutorial, we looked at some of the assumptions that you have to satisfy for you to run a paired sample t-test. So for this session, we are mostly going to focus on how you can analyze and interpret the data. So by the end of this session, you'll know some of the instances where you can apply one sample, a paired sample t-test. Secondly, how you can run paired sample t-test in SPSS. And another one, how you can calculate the effect size. And finally, how you can interpret the results. So initially mentioned that a paired sample t-test, these are an inferential statistics, and it is normally used to prove the hypothesis. And in most cases, we normally compare the means of two groups or two variables to find if they are statistically different from zero. So let's start from our objective number one. What are some of the instances? For example, we like, let's say you're a teacher, you have taught your students a particular scale, can be an Excel data analytics. You simply want to determine if there is any impact that has been created by training the students on such a Excel or data analysis using Excel. So we'll find their scores maybe before the training and after the training, and be in a position to compare the two outcomes. Another thing, let's say there's an example or in nasal areas whereby you are doing a drought preparedness and a recovery project. And in this case, you meet the community member, they tell you maybe by doing some breed improvement, in that area they're in a position to increase their milk production. So by doing that, you introduce or you do some breed improvement and compare how was the milk production before improving their breeds and how is the milk production after a breed improvement. Then in this case, we are also going to check on that using the SPSS data that I already have, the production before intervention and after intervention. Third one is the effect size calculation. We are going to see how can we the effect, because in most cases we can get our results right by indicating that there is a statistical significance difference between the two. But now how do we now get the size, or how do we get the effect size or the magnitude for based on the results or the data that we have? And we are simply going to calculate that by, let's run our paired sample t-test first. And in this case, if you want to run a paired sample t-test, you simply go to analyze on the SPSS main menu, click on analyze, then compare means, then on paired sample t-test, and we'll get the dialog box of the paired sample t-test dialog box. So milk production before will automatically move it to variable 1, and milk production after are simply going to move it to variable 2. So these ones will, their options will remain the way by default. It is at 95% confidence interval or level, and we can retain that the way it is. So once you have done all this, simply click on OK. And the output viewer will be activated, and we'll have our data here. So for this case, we have paired sample statistics, where they have the mean before intervention and the mean after, or the milk production, mean in liters, after intervention. The end, this is simply the sample size that we have. Standard deviation, as I indicated earlier in some of my previous videos or tutorials, is that this shows how spread the values are away from the mean. And standard error mean, this is simply the standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size or observations. So that is how we are. Then we have the second table, which is paired samples correlations. This second table is a correlation whereby we find the total or the sample size 26. Correlation, we are getting a 2.67 and significance value of 0.1188. So the correlation values here simply tells us, if you also check on the video that I did on how you can analyze and interpret correlation analysis, a correlation value of 0.267, this is a weak but positive correlation. So this shows that the production before and after are weak but positively correlated. Then we have our final table here called the paired sample test. Here we get the mean difference, meaning that after intervention, our mean improved by 5.8038. That is in terms of production in milk production. A standard deviation of 10.0550. Standard error mean of that. Then at 95% confidence interval, you have the low of negative 9.8652 to upper of that, negative 1.7425. That is statistics at 25 degree of freedom, we get negative 2.943 at a two-tailed significance level. So this one will just tell us there's a significance relationship between before intervention and after intervention. But how do we now get the magnitude? So to get the magnitude, we simply say that eta squared statistic, that is the effect size calculation, is normally given by what is equal to t squared divided by t squared plus degree of freedom, or n minus 1. So that is the value that we have. So this is going to be our value. It is given by the eta square. So we normally get it by t squared divided by n divided by t squared plus n minus 1. So our t squared, according to the value that we have just generated, can check the output and get the t is negative 2.43. So we can have this as this is going to be equal to negative 2.943. Yeah, 2.943, that is squared. Going to square that. Then we have, it's going to be, we are going to divide this. Just bring in this formula here. So 2.943, 943, then we square. .943 squared. Then we divide by the same value. Can be brought here, squared plus n minus 1. Our n here was 26. Then if we subtract 1, we get 25, which is the degree of freedom. So this is going to be n minus 1, that is simply 25. So 25. So this value will give us, so just by calculation, can go to our calculator and find the answer. Answer to this, we find, so if we calculate that, how much do we get, or how many do we get for that? So by doing this, we get 0.257. So that is the value that we get here. And there's a school called Cohen. So according to Cohen, 1988, proposed some of the values and their ratings and how these interpretation can be done. So according to him, a value that is 0.01 was low 0.06 or was a medium, and any value that is above that was considered to have a large effect. So in this case, if we get a value that is 0.257, this is simply a large effect for that. So therefore, how can we interpret this result? We can simply now come and obtain all our tables here. Let's have all our tables, can cut. Then have these tables here. The one that we don't need, we can do away with them. Can go with that. So this is the first table. That is the second one. Therefore, the third one. Let's try to have that one. Yeah, so we can simply realign this data by auto-fitting this into Windows. So we have all our values here. So we are going to interpret this data by saying a paired sample t-test was conducted to determine the effect of breed improvement on milk production, and the results showed a significant increase in the amount of milk produced. This is the significance level. We have here 0.007, meaning it is significant because it was less than the alpha value of 0.05. And the mean before was 1.68 as a standard deviation of 0.545, and after was 7.481, a standard deviation of 10. So that was significant. Therefore, the result showed this, as I indicated earlier, that one, the degree of freedom was 25, meaning 26 minus 1, and our t-value was negative 2.943. The p was 0.05 at two-tail, and the mean increased by 5.8038 and 95% confidence level, ranging from the lower class limit, lower limit to the upper. You have the values here, negative 9.8652 to negative 1.7425. Our effect size, the eta square statistics indicate a large effect size, and since large effect size and this one we got at 0.257, can just have it in the bracket that way. So this is simply how we interpret the paired sample t-test data and results, and all the values and the tables that are here as I indicated, and the calculations. So thank you very much for watching this tutorial. If you find it very insightful, kindly click on the subscription tab below and subscribe to this channel for more updates.